Hello, everybody, and welcome into Texas Postgame Live. As always, brought to you here at the Voice of College Football. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. Texas gets a big blowout win, 52-37, and it was kind of over after 52-23. I wish the defense could have ended it on a better note, even though some backups came in the game. But overall, a good win. Josh, I'll let you kick this one off. What did you think about this game overall from Texas?
Yeah, good response here by Texas. This is a feisty Arkansas team that has brought a lot of schools, really good football teams, to close competition, to close games. I know that their 2-8 now 2-9 record is not like the most interesting thing in the world, but this is an Arkansas team that took Ole Miss to the wire. They took Notre Dame, no, not Notre Dame, sorry, Tennessee to the wire, Texas A&M to the wire, LSU, Mississippi State, Auburn, every single school down to the last couple minutes of the game. Texas is the one team that completely put them away. And this is the response you wanted from Texas. Texas coming off a game last week where they disappointed. They did not play well in a lot of different ways. They got outcoached. They got outplayed. This time around, it felt like Texas was in more control from start to finish. Was it a perfect day? There were still some things left on the bone. There's some drops. The defense didn't play great. But we expected Arkansas to put up some points because they do have a really good offense. Mike Washington had a couple of really nice plays, including putting Michael Taft into the dirt. That's somebody that if he does go in the portal, Texas should look at. But I'm pretty happy with the response here. Texas gets a big double-digit victory. You can now start to look at other teams around the college football landscape and say, okay, can Oklahoma lose? Can Alabama lose? And if Texas can get that win versus A&M, this Arkansas game with the double-digit win helps your case a little bit more. So really happy about the win. A lot of positives take away from it. And, yeah, now it's on to A&M.
B. Ross.
All right.
Have lost no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. I'm good. All right.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Big time win. I thought the O-line played a really good game. I mean, this game started up front. When they give Arch time, we see the numbers he can put up. Like, this guy played out of his mind today. Defensive line did not play up to the standard in which I expect, but a big part to Josh's point, we have to clean up the run game stuff on defense. But overall, like, I thought we played a pretty clean game, cut down on penalties big time. Had some late penalties with the young guys, but I think that's good experience for them. I think getting those guys in, getting them live game reps is always a great time. So, yeah, I don't have too many complaints about this game. I'm glad we beat them with some force, and we took it to them early and often. And I love that we responded and didn't let last week come into this game and really affect how we played and how we came out, because we came out guns a-blazing, especially on offense.
Yeah, I think this team is a completely different team at home, especially offensively, than on the road. We see that. The offensive performance is much better at home, and we come out more explosive, ready to play. I wish the defense did finish the game a little bit stronger. You know, that is something the last couple of years we've seen with the Texas defense. They know how to finish games out well, and this team doesn't really do that. I'm fine with one touchdown, but two touchdowns last, 6-7 minutes for Arkansas. I know we still won by 15, but I would have liked, stick them at 30 points. But again, we're just nitpicking a little bit here. Overall, really good game. We saw, Texas come out and do some stuff that I know we called for on the Monday show. I'm sure you guys did too, about Jalen Gilbo being out of the game. And we saw Cade Phillips line up at the outside. We saw Grayson Littleton at the star position, nickel position lineup. So you had two freshmen out there. I thought they both played a very good football game, and it gives you a sneak peek into next year when those two guys will definitely be starting, and you'll probably jump into the portal and get a more, seasoned guy that takes the place of Malik Muhammad, hopefully, because there's really no one else on this roster that you can trust. But overall, really good for them. I thought, the offensive line played their best game of the year. They played very well about 2 out of the last 3 weeks. And I even thought they played okay versus Georgia. They didn't play great, obviously, but they played okay. It definitely wasn't the worst performance of the year last week versus Georgia. But overall, I think this is just a solid bounce back from Texas with all the noise surrounding Steve Sarkisian, all the noise we've heard about this program throughout the whole year and Arch Manning and everything. And I thought they played a very, sound and good football game overall versus a team that's very good offensively. Like coming into this game, I said Arkansas, is a legit top 20, 25 offense, and they are. Their defense is abysmal. They're terrible. We did exactly what we should have done. But offensively, for the most part, when we had our starters out there on defense, they only scored 23 points. I think that's a pretty good defensive effort versus that offense.
Yeah, I want to really quickly talk about Cade Phillips. He had 2 pass deflections. He also had a really nice tackle out in open space where just completely put a dude in the dirt. Like that was something that I didn't expect to see from Cade, especially as a freshman with his size. But he had 2 pass deflections. And then Grayson Littleton, the other freshman, had 3 pass deflections there. So that's 5 pass deflections out of the 7 you had between 2 freshmen. So that is something to like about this game. I mean, again, coming into the game, you knew Arkansas was going to put some points up. Both KJ Jackson and Taylor Green, like those are 2 quality quarterbacks. And then, once the injury happened, you don't have as much film on that backup quarterback. And, he made some plays, he made some mistakes, but they got 2 guys that can move around, make some plays with their arm. They can run a bit. They got a good running back. Offensive line is just okay, but man, their defense is just horrendous. And one of the comments we see on the screen, Sark looks different at home. I don't think Sark looks different. I think Sark just looks incredible when he goes up against terrible defenses. When you can dial it up and everything is just wide open down the field, of course your offense and your play calling is going to look genius. If this was a Georgia defense, Texas would not have the same thing going on. Arkansas has like 2 guys on that unit that are worth a damn, and that's Quincy Rhodes and that's Julian Neal. Okay. Well, Sorsby's a pretty decent player. But outside of them, I mean, there's nothing on this defense. It is like 2 or 3 players, and the rest of them are bad. And they're not well coached either. They fired the defensive coordinator. It has just been a horrendously bad defense. And there was a lot of big plays down the field. Parker Livingstone had multiple big catches. Probably should have had a 3rd one. Mosley got some things going. Wingo got some things going. DeAndre Moore with the hat trick, 3 touchdowns. That's good to see. And Arch Manning just dialed it up. And I thought this was I think it's pretty fair to say Arch's best game, which is not shocking because of how bad Arkansas's defense is. And we got the run game going too. So I was happy with the offense. And when it comes to the defense, I'm not too mad at them. This is an Arkansas team that can score points. And, the game was basically over by the 3rd quarter, and they just started putting up some late touchdowns. So obviously, in an ideal world, you keep them less than 30 and you can finish the score with a 20-point win. But I'll take a 15-point win.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the totality of this game, what I loved was that I thought we played physical, a lot more than we did last week. But I don't have too many complaints. Just up front, we were getting gashed on 1st down consistently. Like their first 3 drives, we gave up 20+ yard runs or passes. Our first 3 drives, like just explosive plays. So that's something, whether Anthony Hill is there or not, that has to be rectified because that's preventable stuff. Guys were jumping out of their gaps, getting watched versus double teams, not just little things that turned into big plays, which usually how that happens on defense. But overall, the defense played well, played fast, scored our first touchdown of the year on defense. Arch played, to me, out of his mind. Like when he plays on time, he's really, really good. But his superpower is that he can play off schedule and make things happen with his legs. But now he's not looking to run as much, which I find impressive. He's looking to sling the ball downfield anytime he's buying time. He's doing more stepping up opposed to stepping back and around. So that's the maturity in his game and like the growth in his game that's like coming through strong, and it makes for a better Texas football team on offense. I mean, the good was really good today.
Yeah, and to your point, I don't think it's a coincidence that Arch's best games are when the offensive line has their best games. This is not breaking news. When your offensive line plays good, your quarterback typically plays better. But people wanted to crap on Arch Manning because Arch was getting sacked and put in the dirt every other play. Now that he has an actual pocket to step into, now that the offensive line is competent, Arch is playing incredibly well. He's playing on time.
Yes.
He's extending plays with his legs. And that's the thing that makes me the most excited about Arch. This was the version of Arch we wanted to see because we saw the glimpses of it last year. And then to start the season off, the offensive line was so bad with so much youth and so much inexperience and just bad play that you could tell Arch was just uncomfortable. And then now the offensive line has picked it up and started to play a lot better. Arch is looking incredible. I think it's a fair conversation to have right now that Arch is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in college football right now. Like he's up there because the offensive line's playing well.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy to think, imagine if these dudes just caught the ball, how much more yards he would have, not just today, but against Georgia, against all these other teams we've had, if the receivers would just hold on to the ball. Because I wish we had an accurate number as to how many drops we've had this year. It feels like it's been like 30 or 40 drops this year, which to me is inexcusable, but Arch is still dialing it up, making some plays. So his development alongside this offensive line has been great. And now we know, hey, as we go into 2026, build that damn offensive line around Arch Manning. Give him time, and he's going to sling it around.
Corey says he'll make the difference, not in the middle, stopping the run. I think he did, especially that first run to Mike Washington. I think Anthony Hill makes that play. I think he fills that gap. Trey Mork was completely lost in the first half, and they actually made Leonga Lafau the Mike in the second half, which was a good move. And that's when they did that, like you saw the change on the defense. Like they started playing really good football overall. But, yeah, Trey Moore's just not a very good linebacker. He's a good edge player, and I think we've kind of forced him in there to show off the NFL teams. But because I know he's undersized, but I really just think we should just get him back to rushing the passer. I think he's still good at that. I don't know why we went away from it. We saw down the stretch last year, I think he had 5 sacks in his last 6 games. And for whatever reason, we've just tried to force him to be a linebacker, and I just completely disagree with that. I know his measurables aren't what the NFL like at the edge position, but I still think if he plays that in the NFL, he can get 6-7 sacks. I think he's that type of player. But overall, it's just frustrating because we called for, or I know I did, I think you guys did too, like 5-6 weeks ago, we wanted to try Cole Hudson at the guard position and Connor Robertson at center, and it took us this long to get there, and I just don't understand. Like, if this is the beginning offensive line, I think this team is 10-2 for sure, and there's an argument to be made. They're 11-1. If you're 10-2, you're in the playoffs right now, or if you beat A&M, obviously. But it's frustrating. It is what it is. But again, like you said, Josh, we know we have our tackles for next year. I don't know. Eligibility is so weird now. If Connor Robertson come back, I would be fine if he's our starting center, but you're going to have to go and get 2 to 3 guards or 2 to 3 guys on the interior that can play guard, center, guard. And it's going to be interesting, but you have to do that. That's the number one thing for me. I think when we did a transfer portal video, guys, and you should go watch it. Gerald and I, top 5 needs, and I had guard as number 1, I believe, because I think this team and under the Sark offense, you need to be able to run the ball. So I think you need the guards, and I think you need a running back. Again, Josh, I agree with you. The running game was pretty good today, but these guys still look like they're running in mud. Like Trey Wisner and CJ Baxter have no acceleration when they're handed the football. It takes forever for them to get up to their top speed. And CJ Baxter, I can give off, a little bit off the hook because he's been hurt. He had, major knee surgery. But Trey Wisner looks so slow. It's unbelievable to me. Mike Washington it was insane. When I saw him carry the ball the first time, I'm like, why don't we have this guy? Texas has no excuse not to have someone like that at the running back position. So that was a little bit frustrating. But overall, I'm not going to be super angry about this football game and a season like this. This was an overall really good game. Arch Manning looked good. He made a really good catch, by the way. Like most guys at the quarterback position aren't making that catch where they have to jump up and turn their body. So that was an impressive catch for that touchdown as well.
Yeah, to the point on the Anthony Hill conversation. Look, Anthony Hill is a NFL quality linebacker. So the second you get him off the team, and you're looking at a linebacking core of Ty Anthony Smith, who we'll talk about that ejection here in a second. I thought that was ludicrous. But you have Ty Anthony Smith, who made some plays. Leonga Lafau. Those guys are really good. As of today, they're not NFL starting caliber guys, right? Whereas Anthony Hill is an NFL day 1 starter. Leonga Lafau, Ty Anthony Smith, they're not there yet. They could get there, and I think they have a chance to make it in the NFL for sure and play some sort of role in special teams and things like that. Anthony Hill's just a difference maker. Now, that said, I do agree that Trey Moore, not the greatest fit at linebacker. Linebacker's so much more than just physicality, size, acceleration, things like that. It is a very, very smart position. If you're going to be a quality linebacker, you got to be very smart. And there was just a couple times where you could see the I don't want to say the inexperience, but the lack of experience there with not having Anthony Hill there, where if Anthony Hill is there, he attacks that block a little bit differently, and that big run play isn't a big run play. So at that point, missing Anthony Hill was big. I do believe he's going to be back for this next week, though. At least I really hope. And then to your point about running back, for sure, CJ, it's kind of a sad story. Big 5-star recruit, and it's just been injury, and he just is not 100%. He just doesn't have the same leg drive he had coming into that first year. And I hope he gets there for sure. But for Texas, I don't think they can sit here and afford to keep having to develop these guys. They need an impact guy right away. And I like Trey Wisner. I don't know if Trey Wisner is like the ultimate number one running back. I think in an ideal world, you have Wisner and pair him up with a Mike Washington-like guy, and then you have sort of a downhill dynamic run threat paired up with a zone runner like Trey Wisner, and that really makes your run game that much better. But yeah, I mean, it hasn't been great from the running back room. Today it was just okay. You got a couple runs going, but nothing really explosive. The lack of an explosive ground game has been disappointing this year, especially because the past few years with Jonathan Brooks, Bijan, Jaden Blue, et cetera, you had those big run plays down the field, and that was a big chunk of the offense. This year, it's become so much more on Arch Manning. But, I mean, look, the receivers are really good. They're making plays. They got to catch the ball. That's the most frustrating thing ever. But when they do catch the ball, they're making a ton of plays. Yeah, I think there's a lot to like about this game. I still feel decent about the A&M game. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and pretend that I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to beat A&M. But I feel confident we can beat them. They're a great football team. They haven't really been tested, right? They've gone up against talented teams, but they haven't gone up well-coached, talented football teams that are kind of trending upwards right now, right? They went against LSU and all these really crappy SEC teams that have pieces, have talent, but they're not of the level of Texas. Texas at home with that crowd. It's a night game. It's going to be a crazy environment. I'm excited for that game, and I'm pretty excited to see what Arch Manning looks like in that game because it's going to be at home, and Texas does look like a bit of a different beast at home. So that's the exciting thing.
Yeah, I think they played the worst 9 teams in the SEC this year. I'm pretty sure that's the case. We're the best. It's crazy to say this, but we're the best offense they would have played up until or for the whole season. When we play them, we will be the best offense they have played. We'll be probably the best defensive line as well. So other than obviously Notre Dame, but Notre Dame was also a completely different team. Their defense was terrible the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season. I think our defense is better than their defense was then. It's not now. Their defense is very good now. But overall, yeah, it was a good, solid win. I think I had us winning this game 33-24. So I had Arkansas covering. Arkansas didn't cover. So anytime you can do that, that's a good thing. Corey says, you think Baxter gets his NIL cut? No, because if he does that, I think he'll transfer. And do I think he should? Probably. I think there's a bunch of guys on this team, honestly, if we're being for real, that should probably get their NIL cut. They haven't lived up to the standard. And then he says, could you see him leaving? I could see him leaving. I said when the injury happened because of the room, I wouldn't have been shocked if CJ Baxter never really played a significant down for Texas again. He has played a significant down, but I could see him leaving 100%. I could see Texas kind of, a mutual parting of ways. Hey, you're not the same, and we want to go a different way and get a more high-quality running back. Derek Cooper's coming in here, and if you go get someone big-time in the portal, there's your 2 guys you're riding with. If you want to go with Christian Clark as your third again, I'm fine with that. Christian Clark's the most explosive running back we have on our team, by the way. Every time he touches the ball, there's a different explosive level that he has. Is he the best? No, but he's also coming off an Achilles injury as well, so it's going to be interesting what he looks like going into next year.
Yeah, and I also think Trey Wisner probably returns this year as well, or for next year. So, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's always kind of weird when you're talking about which players are leaving because you don't want guys to leave, but at the same time, there are certain players and scenarios where you're like, this guy he's a good player, but he's just not going to have a role on this team. And that's kind of what I feel like with Baxter. And I love Baxter. I love his personality. I love the leader he's become. But the injuries have just turned him into a player that is, I don't want to say unplayable, but just not who we need at this point. And as you look towards next year, one of the issues that you're going to have recruiting these transfer guys is let's say I'm Mike Washington. I'm just going to use Mike Washington, for example, because we just watched him ball it out for Texas. If I'm Mike and Texas calls me up and says, hey, Mike, we're going to give you a good NIL package. We're going to have you transfer here. Mike's going to sit here and say, well, you already have Wisner and Baxter, right? Even though Baxter hasn't really been the guy, that's going to be the sentiment amongst, recruits out there. If Baxter were to leave and go elsewhere, which I kind of think that's where it's trending, then Mike will say, okay, you have Wisner. I can be the guy that spells him, and we can do kind of what Ohio State did. That's what I'm hoping is the case here, because I do agree with you. I just sadly am having a hard time seeing Baxter have a role with this team next year, unless he has a great game versus A&M and a great game in potentially the playoffs or the bowl game, whatever. But that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. There's a couple players who, like a Trey Owens, you can kind of see Neto, just kind of keep going down the list. You can start to see the guys who are like, I don't really see where your role is in the future. Some corners as well. So we'll wait and see on that one. But, that'll be a video for another time. Guys who we think might be transferring, going elsewhere. But look, Texas, big time win. A lot of things to like with this one. I think, by the way, the Arch Manning catch was a beauty. Like that, Arch Manning used all of his 6'4" frame. Probably showed off a 30-40 inch vertical. Got that ball there. That was one of the best catches I've seen from a Texas player in quite some time. I mean, the Ryan Wingo one last week was killer, but that was a nice catch too. So I thought Arch had a great game. I love the way he showed out there today, and I love Parker Livingstone. I love Emmett Mosley. Got to catch the ball, Livingstone. Got to catch the ball, Mosley. But all in all, I like where this team is trending. This does sort of feel like the year before the year, right? And that makes me excited for next year, because next year you look at it, you say Arch is returning. You're going to now piece up that offensive line. You're going to piece up the running back room. And defensively speaking, you got some guys. How you replace Anthony Hill, how you replace Manny Muhammad, that's going to be the whole offseason storyline, because we kind of didn't see Texas replace the Jahdae Barrons of the world, right? When Jahdae left, you didn't really have a guy. So we'll see how they decide to go about this transfer portal and this process. But as of now, all eyes are going to be focused on Texas A&M, and I like the way Texas matches up with them. I really do.
Yeah, you said the year before the year, and yeah, I said that in our preseason prediction videos that I'm all in. Like next year, to me, Texas should make the national championship game. They have a lot of returning talent, especially offensively. You go and get some guards. I don't even think, like, if you give me 2 good guards and then you get me 1 really good running back, I'm not going to be that angry if they don't go and get a wide receiver in the portal. I think there's enough talent there at the wide receiver position to where you can make enough plays. Like Ryan Wingo, the last 6 quarters has played really, really good football. For whatever reason, I don't know what happened at halftime of that game. He's playing with more confidence in what he's doing, and he's not questioning his hands as much. Like he's made some really good catches since the halftime of the Georgia game. And Emmett Mosley's been old, reliable. Parker Livingston's the one where if you want to upgrade there, I'm fine with, because he makes some just weird drops and he's not super explosive coming out of his routes. So I could see them, getting a more explosive guy to be a second or third option. But I'm cool if you're riding with Wingo and Mosley as your number 1 and 2 going into next year, and then upgrading, especially at the tight end position too. I think you either have to go and get just a real amazing athlete at the tight end position, or just, like I said, go to Montana State and get a 260-pound tight end that can just block his ass off, so you can run 12 personnel. And if Endries comes back, you can just have Endries and that dude out there. And I think that would be good enough. But we'll have to see what they do. Overall, it's really good. Let's talk about some of the bad in this game, because I think defensively, again, the game plan coming out to me was not aggressive enough. Again, it was like, sit back, let's see what they do, and then adjust off of that. And again, you can do that versus the Kentuckys, the Arkansas, the Mississippi States of the world. You saw last week when you came out slow versus Georgia what the hole brought in that football game, and you can never climb out of it. If you do that again versus A&M, you're not climbing out of that hole.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I would say my biggest negative on the game would probably be some of the tackling in the secondary. I didn't love, like, Michael Taft, you're a senior dude and you're getting put in the dirt. Like, that's a bad look. And there's just a couple times where you have a guy and you have guys surrounding him and he breaks a tackle, makes a, what could have been a 5 or 6 yard game. Now it turns into a 12-yard game. Tackling had to be a little bit better. I also was a little disappointed with the defensive line. This is an Arkansas offensive line that's not bad by no means, but Texas only having 1 sack on the day I thought was a little disappointing. Now, they got more pressure than Arkansas did versus Arch, but I would have liked to have seen them convert a few more sacks and more tackles for loss. But yeah, I mean, look, Arkansas is a good offense, so I want to give them their flowers. They're a really well-coached offense in terms of, like, they're hard to dial in on, right? There are some teams who what they're going to do. It's a downhill, physical ground game. They're not going to be too creative. Arkansas has a really updated, modern, creative offense that is very difficult to navigate. But I do think there were some things that we did defensively that I wasn't a big fan of in terms of, and they tried a lot, by the way. There was a couple times where, like, Texas, for the most part, hasn't done this in a while, but 3 down defensive linemen with 8 guys in the secondary. They had a play call during the game where they mugged up the line of scrimmage with 6 guys, and 4 of them bailed and 2 guys, blitzed, which I actually kind of thought that was an interesting look. They threw a lot at Arkansas, but Arkansas with their athletic quarterback and making plays on the run and whatnot, it's tough. I would have liked to have seen them be a little bit better. And I do believe if Anthony Hill was out there, this defense performs a lot better. But, you get the next guy up, and I didn't think the guys really stepped into a big role. So not a great game for Taff.
No.
I don't think it was a great game. I thought it was a great game for the young guys, Grayson Littleton.
Yeah.
I thought Jonah Williams made a couple plays. He got out there a little bit. A lot of things out there. So I think the young guys played well. Jelani, okay game. He had an okay game, tackle for loss, 5 tackles. I didn't really call his name too often out there. He did get juked out of his boots on an in-breaking route. That was pretty bad. But yeah, and then there was also the DeAndre Moore kickoff thing or punt thing. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that was a weird one too, where it looked like maybe he touched the ball, but then he brought the ball back out, and it was just kind of a confusing moment. So some little mistakes, but unlike last week where it was like penalties and just all these different things are killing you, it wasn't really that bad this week, right? 7 penalties for Texas for 72 yards. Nothing too frustrating besides the ejection of Anthony Smith, which I'll let you talk about that one. The Anthony Smith ejection I thought was a bunch of BS.
Yeah. Oh, it was complete. I want to say a lot worse words for that, but I mean, it was so bad. I mean, the guy has his head up. He never lowers his head. He hits him in the shoulder. And when he threw it, I was shocked. Like when that was thrown, I was like, no way in hell is that targeting. And then they upheld it. And by the way, we never saw a replay. Thanks, ESPN, for that one. Never showed any freaking replay of it. Just said, he's out for next half. Oh, thanks for that one. I would love to see the replay. I'm sure they'll send it in the SEC office. You can get it reversed. It will not be reversed. It's never going to be reversed. It would have to be, listen, that was a bad call. Are there worse ones that could have been called that, shouldn't have been? Yeah. But, I mean, my God, like I saw one a couple weeks ago. Caleb Downs literally jumps off his 2 feet on a Penn State guy and nails him in the head with his helmet, and they did not call targeting. I'm like, that is the textbook definition of targeting. And then this one, no elements of it at all. He didn't hit him in the head or neck area. He hit him in the shoulder. That's literally a textbook tackle. That's what you're told. Hit and drive to the shoulder, wrap up, or the hip. And he did that, and they called it targeting. So that pisses me off, and it is a big deal because if Anthony Hill cannot go next week, we're going to have to ride Leongo Flau and Trey Moore out there. And do I love that versus A&M? No. Now, is that the position I'm really concerned about versus A&M? No, because A&M likes to throw the football, and they don't have like a great running game. It's pretty good, but it's not great. It's more Mario Craver, Casey Concepcion that scares me. Whereas Arkansas does have a good running game. Like they talked about that. Mike Washington's really good. So we'll have to see how that does affect us going into next week. But overall, like the bad in this game, again, I agree with you. It's the tackling in the secondary. And I don't know why more teams don't just get rid of the ball quickly versus Texas and let their playmakers play, run past our guys. Cause I think that could happen and that would hurt us because we miss some tackles, guys. We really do. And it's a big deal, and it's going to be a big deal next week because if you miss a tackle on KC Concepcion or you missed a tackle on Mario Craver, you may not get another chance to tackle them. They may be going to the house, and that may be a big game-changing play. So the tackling on the back end needs to get a lot better for Texas going into next week.
Yeah, and the Anthony Smith, I'm trying to find a video of it to kind of show people, but the ejection, the hit he did, yes, he led, like his helmet was leading, but he didn't like use the crown right here to just engage it. Like if he did that and he put his head down, hit him right here, cool, all right. But he hit him with his head down, basically first on the shoulder pad, and then the head made contact. But it wasn't like a big crown of the helmet. It was just a silly call, in my opinion. And yeah, look, if we are to miss Anthony Smith and
Anthony
Hill, that's a big deal. Like those are our 2 best. I mean, maybe not 2 best. I think him and Leon got fouled pretty close. Those are 2 of our better linebackers. And to miss those guys, I thought, here's a video of it. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
That works. Do it.
Let me share this.
And on the Anthony Hill point, I do think he plays. Like he really wanted to play this week, guys, from all reports. So I think if it's a pain thing, I think he's going to play.
Yeah, here, right. Engages right here, not the crown of his helmet.
Side of
I
shoulder
just,
pads.
I just don't get that, man. That's a questionable call right there. But you know what? You got to play through it. You can't let it ruin your game. Texas did not let it ruin their game. It ruined my day for sure. But no, Anthony Hill, I think we'll be back and we will survive. Leon Golafau and Anthony Hill are good. But I feel like Anthony Smith, this is a really good chance for him. Like, you're going up against an athletic football team that has athletic receivers, and Anthony Smith is one of your most athletic linebackers. I think it's a massive deal, right? So now you're going to see a lot more Jelani McDonald playing inside the box. You're going to see a lot more, I think, Derek Williams, a lot more guys, because Anthony Smith is that more athletic linebacker. Not having him on the field, it's going to suck, at least for the first half, but at least you get him for the second half.
Yeah, I agree with what you just said. I think Jelani McDonald should move down to linebacker. I think he's actually more equipped to play that position than he is safety. And Texas has, like, if you just want to throw Jonah Williams and Michael Tapp back there and ride with Jelani inside the box, the linebacker position, I think that offers you more versatility, one, and then more athleticism too. Like Jelani McDonald, no offense, we saw he's not very good when he's one-on-one with like a wide receiver. He's not very good down the field, and in coverage he's pretty good at that, like reading the quarterback's eyes and then reacting. But if it's just one-on-one coverage, he's not very good at that, guys. But he is good at getting downhill and making plays in the run game. We've seen him do that before. So I actually think they probably should slide him down into the box for this upcoming game. I don't know if they will, but I think he would be more equipped to do that.
Yeah, Jelani's right now, he's getting better as a player. I would say Jelani's more of a athlete, more so than a football player. Right, he can move. He's got good size. He's got a good frame. I think 6'2", 200 something pounds. Like, he's a well put together player with long arms. The little nuances, though, like the shiftiness level, and come especially against a team like A&M, I kind of worry about. But he is such a good athlete that he can make up for it. You know, looking at the numbers in this game, though, it doesn't feel like Arkansas did that. Like, they had 500 yards in the day. Some of that was garbage yards. Some of it, and a lot of times they moved the ball decently well, but they just didn't convert when they got past the 50. It felt like the defense played better than what the numbers might suggest. At least that's what my opinion is. I still think there's a lot to clean up. Those first few drives were pretty ugly because they had those big explosive plays. And then in the fourth quarter, you put some backups in, they start getting things going. But it felt like in like the second to third-ish quarter, the defense played fine. They played well enough, even though the numbers suggest that Arkansas was just running up the score on you.
Yeah, I think once it got to 52-23, I don't really care how many yards they got. Like, the game was over at that point to me. So I'm interested. I bet they probably put up 150 total yards after that. I mean,
it would check out.
We were playing pretty soft, and we gave him a lot underneath. And Jackson is pretty good. Like, I was pretty impressed with him coming into the game. I'm interested to see if that was like if that was more of a benching of Taylor Green after that play. But that wasn't, by the way, that wasn't on Taylor Green. That was a horrendous play call. Bobby Petrino, I think it's hilarious, got angry at him for that. Dude, you called a play in which you did a read option, then you wanted him to like do, I don't even know what kind of pass you wanted him to throw. Like, that's the kind of pass he was going to have to throw in that situation, because the tight end sat 1 yard in front of Taylor Green. Like, he didn't run 3 to 4 yards down the field. Even if he completes that pass, like just shovels it to him, completes it, it's not going to be a first down. It's a horrendous play call. And they said his hamstring and everything, and he was clearly gimpy and getting worked on, but he was standing on the sideline. Like, I think if you have a hamstring, you're not going to be standing. You're probably going to be sitting most likely. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was like, you're nicked up, we're down, I'm pissed off at you, I'm going to put this guy in, which is very Bobby Petrino. But I didn't understand that.
No, I mean, honestly, both quarterbacks played pretty freaking well, in my opinion, so it didn't really matter. I mean, the Taylor Green one was weird. It looked like it was supposed to be like a heavy run fake and then pop the pass over. That's good to run if you're near like the goal line where everyone's lined up preparing for the run, and then you fake the run, jump up, Cam Newton style, throw it over. Like, that's fine. But on that down, with that distance, with where you were in the game, just a bad play call. And they were still in the game at that time too. Like, the game wasn't a complete wash at that point. Bad play call by them. And, that's why they're 2-9, right? They make mistakes like that and they don't convert on things like that. So not great for them. But man, Taylor Green is a really high level quarterback for college football. So all credit to him. He's been staying strong over there in Arkansas. And I think KJ Jackson has a bright future too. He's a young player. What is he, a freshman or a redshirt freshman, something like that?
I think he's a freshman,
Yeah, true freshman. So he's got plenty of years ahead for him. And this is a good time for him to like, hey, put some tape on there, maybe hit the portal, go get you a contract somewhere, go play for Florida or something like that. That'd be fun. But I think the other bad that wasn't a part of this, Oklahoma beat Missouri. Bummer.
Yeah.
Notre Dame dominated their game. Bama won, Michigan won, and Utah just won. Now, the good news is Georgia Tech's getting their butt whooped right now. It's 28-10, so that helps you. But you didn't really get the help you wanted to potentially make the playoffs, and that's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, I think at this point, I don't think we're going to get in, but it's going to take probably Oklahoma and Alabama to lose, or it's going to take Notre Dame. It's going to take a combination of two teams losing. It's going to be either Miami, Notre Dame, because Miami would get in at 10. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't even know. I haven't done the math, but it'd be Oklahoma.
They have the conference.
Yeah. But I don't know if they get in the ACC championship game. That's the thing, like with all the tiebreakers and who they've lost to. I'm not sure about that. That's going to be interesting. But you're going to have Miami, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Alabama. You're going to have two of those teams lose in front of you. I'm not really concerned with the Big 12 teams because I don't think Utah would stay in front of Texas if Texas beats Texas A&M personally. And I think there's a real chance, I don't know what the score is, that BYU loses tonight Cincinnati. So if that does happen, that would be a big deal too, because that would get them out of there. And they would, in my opinion, they would jump Utah. So it's really, the teams in front of you. Next week, you're going to be, if you're a Texas fan, you're going to be rooting for Ohio State. You're going to be rooting for Auburn. You're going to be rooting for LSU. And then I'm trying to think who else up there that you're going to be rooting for. No, I don't even know who Notre Dame plays. So whoever they play, you're going to
if you're Texas, realistically speaking, Utah doesn't really have a great pathway in, so you should be fine there. Ole Miss, you probably want Ole Miss to win. You want Georgia to win. Of course, Texas needs to beat Texas A&M. Indiana win. Arizona State don't matter. You need Ohio State to win this game because if Michigan beats Ohio State, Michigan's going to jump Texas.
Yep.
USC is going to go down because they lost to Oregon. Virginia, Oregon's fine. If Miami loses to Pittsburgh, that helps you out, but there's going to be a team within that conference that wins anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. BYU, you need to lose to Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship because if Tech loses to BYU, then two schools are going to be in the Big 12 unless something crazy happens tonight and tomorrow or next week. Down the board, you need LSU to beat Oklahoma. That feels kind of like a must. Either that or you need Auburn to beat Alabama. And you need Vanderbilt to lose to Tennessee. So, I mean, the most realistic path for Texas would be Ohio State beats Michigan. Georgia beats Georgia
LSU
Tech.
Could beat Oklahoma.
It's possible. I kind of struggle seeing it because Oklahoma's playing good. But my thing is like, okay, what happens if just one of those teams lose? Like, what if LSU does beat Oklahoma, but Bama beats Auburn? And let's say Tennessee does beat Vanderbilt, right? Because Vanderbilt's technically in front of you. And they are two lost teams. So let's say Vandy loses to Tennessee. Does Texas still get in if Oklahoma loses to LSU and Bama beats Auburn? It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, and the thing
is, it's hard to do the math in your head.
Yeah, it is. I still think even if Vandy beats Tennessee, Texas could jump Vandy because of the head-to-head, and they'd have much better wins at that point. Like, what's Vanderbilt's best win at that point would be that Tennessee win, which Tennessee wouldn't even be ranked after that. So yeah. Texas would have 3 top 25 wins. And if you're counting at the time they play, you would have beaten 3 top 10 teams. Like Vanderbilt, and one of those was a head-to-head versus Vandy, in which you dominated the game for 55 minutes and let them in. So I think they would pass them, honestly. I think it really is just you need 2 of those teams to lose. I don't know which 2 would help you the most. Oklahoma is definitely the one. Oklahoma is number 1 for me. You have to root for LSU. That has to be the number 1 team you have to lose. And then it's kind of, a hodgepodge after that. I don't really know where it goes, but you have to have 2 of them lose. And I think I'm not really concerned with Michigan beating Ohio State. I know the 4 years in a row, but Michigan's not that good of a football team. I've watched them a lot this year. Not a very good football team. And if Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith play, I think Ohio State beats them by 14 plus points. I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope at least that'd be the case. It's going to be crazy. I mean, next week, even if Texas destroys A&M, Texas is going to need some help, realistically speaking. They're going to need some help. And really the best pathway is for LSU to beat Oklahoma or Auburn to beat Alabama. And if that's the case, then Texas will give themselves a chance. But look, you didn't handle your business versus Florida. had you handled your business early in the season and beat Florida, you would be a 2-loss ball club with losses to Georgia and losses to Ohio State. Even if you lost to Texas A&M, I still think you'd have an argument to be in. But because you lost that Florida game, it's a must-win time, and you got to start, praying that other teams lose. And I think what will be interesting is if Texas actually does get in. Texas is a good football team, and I think they would beat some teams in the playoffs.
It depends on the matchup. I think it's super matchup dependent. If we go against an explosive offense, I think we'd lose because I don't trust our back end versus an explosive team. I'm trying to think who a good matchup would be for us. I honestly think if we got our run fits well and we'd have a long time to do so, I think we could compete with Notre Dame because I don't think outside of their 2 running backs, they really scare me with any of the playmakers they have on the outside. Obviously, I do not want to play Ohio State again. I think they would absolutely beat the shit out of us because I don't think we can cover those guys. And unless the front four just wrecks the game and, actually get some pressure on Julian Sand, I don't think that game would be close. I really don't. Their defense is special, and those 2 guys are freaks on the outside. I'm trying to think who else. Georgia don't want to play them again, obviously. Yeah. Ole Miss, I would like to play Ole Miss, especially with what's happening there. Lane Kiffin basically already said, I'm done here. That's crazy to me that you're doing that during a playoff run. It'd be interesting if they even allow him to coach the playoff game because you're going to be into January recruiting for another team, coaching your team. That makes no sense. So I don't think he will be the head coach in the playoffs, guys. I think he's going to get the boot. And yes, I would love to play them in the playoff if that was possible. I'm trying to think who else. Texas Tech. Their front four is very good, and they would pose a very interesting, dilemma for Texas, but their offense, Baron Morton does nothing for me. He does not move me at all. Their offense isn't that good in my opinion, but their defense is very good. I think they legitimately have a top 5 defense in college football. So that'd be a hard game for our offense.
A road game to Tech? That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, they might bring back tortilla throwing for that one.
Yeah, they definitely would. They definitely would. So right now, if Texas were to enter as the 12th seed, they would be probably matched up with Tech, Ole Miss, or the loser of the SEC championship game, which could be Georgia or A&M or one of those teams. So it would be interesting. But that's where we have some other things to handle. By the way, I was thinking about this the other day. If Texas does make it to a bowl game, what team would you want to see Texas play? Just
Michigan.
I literally said the exact same thing. I was like, I would love to see Michigan. But if I'm looking for best history or just something we haven't seen in a long time, I think there'd be some really fun matchups out there, like seeing Texas go against Tennessee or Missouri.
Would
Illinois.
they do SEC versus SEC though for a bowl game?
I don't think so, but it would be cool if they did. Maybe like Texas versus Virginia or something like that, or Washington. That'd be kind of cool. But I think Michigan would be awesome.
Yeah, I want a legit game, and I think if you play Michigan, it would be a legit game because they don't have many guys that are going to sit out. All their guys are younger. That's the thing with Texas too. The only guy that's going to sit out if we play most likely, or only 2, would be Malik Muhammad and Anthony Hill. And I'm going to be honest with you, if Anthony Hill comes and plays the A&M game, I think he's going to play the bowl game. I do. I think if he's going to have that time off, he would play the bowl game. Malik Muhammad, I'm going to be honest with you, don't know because he hasn't been super invested in Texas. He was the one guy that everyone thought he was going to transfer at the end of last year. So I think he's kind of in it for more of the money, which, hey, you can do that if you want to. But so I think he would sit out. But I think Anthony Hill really does love Texas, and I think he might play in that football game. But it'd be fun to watch Bryce Underwood versus Arch Manning, especially with a month off to prepare. And their offenses to prepare. I think that'd be a really fun and entertaining game, and that those teams would actually push each other enough to where it's worth playing that game. I don't really want to play a crappy team because that doesn't benefit us going into next year. I think Michigan, do I think they're a great football team? No, but I think they have the talent to where they at least challenge you, and it's kind of like a really big scrimmage for next year.
I agree. What do you think about Utah?
That would be interesting as well because they're going to play super hard in that game. And they have really good lines of scrimmage, so I'd be fine with playing them too. But I really don't want to play Virginia. I mean, Virginia's not that good of a football team. We would beat the shit out of Virginia, in my opinion.
I think so. This might be the best one. USC, bring it back.
That would be
awesome. That'd be incredible. Yeah. Here's a comment from Corey. Does it hurt if Oklahoma loses or help? It would help Texas. You
Yeah,
want to root
100%.
against Oklahoma.
Yeah, you're not getting in. Oklahoma has way too good of a schedule to jump them at 10-2, even though we did beat them. Like, it's just not happening.
Because they beat good competition. They beat Alabama.
Yeah.
So,
I think
they've earned it.
Yeah, they. I have no issue with them being over us. I think we would be in over a 9-3 Alabama if they lose to Auburn. That'd be a bad loss versus Auburn, a bad loss versus Florida, and then I'm trying to think. The problem is that Georgia win is so big. It's so big, and I think it's still. So that's their best win. Our best win would be A&M, and I'm trying to think who their second best win is.
Well, they have some good wins, but we also beat Oklahoma, and I think both teams beat Vanderbilt. I think Texas more handily beat Vanderbilt. So I think if Alabama loses another game, I think Texas could jump them, but I think it'd be really close.
It would,
and there'd be a lot of fighting on Twitter. It'd be crazy.
Tennessee can beat Vandy. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, if that's the only thing that happens, that's not going to help Texas that much. Because I truly think we're jumping Vandy regardless if we beat A&M. Because again, they don't have any great wins, guys. If you go look at Vandy's schedule, that they've played two good football teams in Alabama and Texas. They lost to both of them. Their best win at this point, I'm trying to think, is it Kentucky? Missouri, and then with their second string quarterback, by the way, because that's when Bo Prabula got hurt. And they're not even going to be ranked anymore. And then their second best win is Kentucky. So, who they did blow out, I will give them credit. They blew the crap out of them.
It could be Auburn or LSU too. But I mean,
those are both.
Auburn.
I mean, Auburn and Kentucky are the same damn football team to me. But LSU, fine, I'll give them a little bit of credit there.
Yeah, I mean LSU. I mean, even then they beat them by 7. So, and neither team is ranked. They don't have a single ranked win because Missouri just lost. They're not going to be ranked. So
no.
But if they beat Tennessee, then that does open up the conversation because Tennessee is going to be a potentially ranked team. They're beating Florida right now.
What's the score of that game?
It is, I think, 14-0 right now.
Okay. Yeah,
and Georgia Tech's getting blown out right now.
Who are they playing?
Pittsburgh, 28-7. Yeah.
There's so many scenarios in the ACC. I don't know who's leading right now. Like, I don't know who's the number one team in the ACC.
I got no clue.
I know if Duke would have beat Virginia last week, I think they beat North Carolina today, or did they lose that game? Do you know?
Duke?
It was close.
Sure Duke football. Yeah, they beat North Carolina 32-25.
Yeah, if they would have beat Virginia last week, they would be, I think with that win today, they would have been in the ACC championship game, which is freaking wild because they have 4 losses if they would have beat Virginia. But that's how bad the ACC is, and there's a real chance if Miami doesn't make the championship game, and then whoever does make it and wins, they're in, and Miami could also get in, which would be a shame to have 2 ACC teams in the college football playoff. It would suck. They do not deserve to have 2. They don't even deserve to have 1. That conference is that bad, guys. Like, they are probably – the American Conference has a debate to be better in that conference. They're so bad.
I don't disagree. I already hate the fact that Miami's up there. I see the constant like, oh, why is this team ahead of them? They have the same amount of losses. It's like, well, you guys lost to shitty teams and we beat good teams. Like, you haven't beaten nobody this year besides, like the one good win versus Notre Dame for Miami. Outside of that, Miami football has done a whole bunch of nothing. This week they beat Virginia Tech, but you got bad losses to some really bad football teams. Not bad, but Louisville's not a great team. SMU's not a great football team. You take away that Notre Dame win, they have nothing on their schedule. Just nothing. And I hope Pittsburgh beats the crap out of them next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. That would eliminate a lot of just wrongs. And I don't even care about like Texas getting in. I just don't want 2 ACC teams to get in. Like, that's just stupid to me. We already have to deal with the G5 team getting in, which is beyond dumb. But to deal with 2 ACC teams getting in is dumb because the thing is, I would rather have 2 Big 12 teams. The Big 12 is a better conference than the ACC. So, we're probably only going to get 1. I think we're going to end up getting 1 team. But I think BYU, Utah are better than most of the teams in the ACC. The ACC,
Arizona State.
Yeah.
I disagree with you.
Yeah, especially if Sam Levitt played.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. A lot of things could happen next week. All I know, I'm going to be an LSU fan. I'll be wearing purple and gold next week.
Hey,
Purple and
don't be
gold
too
and,
big of a fan because
Auburn.
they're going to be keeping a lot of those recruits now, unfortunately, with Lane Kiffin. And that's like the one place I think he can win a national championship, because unless you're just complete Nimrod like Brian Kelly, you can win a national championship at LSU.
LSU's got the talent. They got the pieces. And it doesn't shock me that they haven't lost a lot because of Brian Kelly. Like,
No one
I feel
likes
like, well, nobody committed to LSU because of Brian Kelly. They committed to LSU because it's LSU, right? It's the big school in Louisiana. Like, you're not going to play at ULM. You're not going to play at Louisiana Tech. You're not going to play at University of Louisiana. You're going to LSU, Louisiana State University, right? And that's the big school there for football. And so a lot of the guys that commit there are loyal to Louisiana. And so it doesn't shock me that not a lot of players left there. And it is a shame because Texas is, trying to get more of a footing in Louisiana, and they've gotten some recruits there, but it's gonna be tough to pry them away from LSU, even if Brian Kelly's gone. In fact, it might actually make their commitment more serious because a lot of them hate Brian Kelly, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
And if they get Lane Kiffin, which it sounds like they're going to, that'd be nice.
Corey says, can the Aggies beat Georgia? I don't think they can if Gunnar Stockton keeps playing like the way he has the last couple of weeks. I think Georgia and Ohio State are on a collision course if Gunnar Stockton keeps playing the way he has the last couple of weeks.
Could A&M? Yes. Will they? I right now would put money on Georgia because Georgia, it's the Kirby Smart effect. They are such a well-coached football team. Their defense is good. The secondary's improved a lot. I know there's some issues still on that defense, but so does A&M. And Georgia has been tested. They've gone up against really good football teams. A&M, outside that Notre Dame game, hasn't been tested. And if they beat Texas, and let's say it's a really close game, I still would put money on Georgia. Like, I just would put money on Georgia. I don't trust Marcel Reed versus that defense. I put a lot of stock in Gunnar Stockton more so than Reed. Even though I think Reed's a good player, Georgia, I think, would win. But could A&M win? Yeah, they could win, but I don't think they would.
Yeah, I think Marcel Reed is solid. I got actually, like, not an argument, but I commented back to someone in our comment section talking about how he's better than Arch Manning. No, he's not. Arch Manning is a much better quarterback than Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed is who he is because of Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver. Is he good? Yeah, but he's not. Like, him being thrown in Heisman conversations is wild to me. Wild. He does not deserve that, in my opinion.
Marcel is maybe a more fun player to watch because he can do all the highlight things and things of that nature. But in terms of like pure quarterback play, I have a hard time saying. I mean, Reed's really freaking good. Don't get it wrong, but yeah, I have a hard time saying he's better than Arch, especially with how Arch has been so dominant the past few weeks. I mean, Arch is a better pure quarterback, if that's probably the best way to put it.
Well, and I think, like, we talk about Marcel Reed running the football. Arch Manning runs, I mean, he's a pretty damn good athlete too. So I don't really think there's that much separation between the two there. But inside the pocket, if you make Marcel Reed just stand in the pocket and dice you up, I don't think he's that good. And I think that's what Texas is going to try to do, just like they did last year. So it's going to be interesting. They do, like we've talked about, they got to tackle better in the secondary. That is the thing that concerns me. Yeah,
Marcel's a twitched up guy. Like, he can make you miss an open space. Arch is more of like that physical. He can juke around, make some shifty moves, but Marcel is like I don't want to compare him to Lamar, but Lamar Jackson's more of that elusive, twitched up guy, whereas Arch is more like a Josh Allen, who's a bit bruisier, a bit bigger, will run over you if he has to get that first down. But he can also make you miss an open space because he can twitch a little bit. But as a thrower of the football, Arch is way better of a thrower in the pocket than Marcel. Marcel has the privilege of getting guys wide open in space and letting them do all these things after the catch. Arch, on the other hand, much more of a dissection of the defense, right? Finding the spots in the zone, dropping back, throwing into tight windows. You're not going to see Marcel do as much of that, but A&M's system is such a good offensive system for Marcel because it allows him to be the best version of himself. It allows him to run around, create plays on the run, get guys out in space and allow them to make plays once they actually do get out in space. And that's going to be where tackling for guys like Taff and Jelani, Manny Muhammad, Cade Phillips, all those guys is going to be that much more important because there's going to be a lot of guys out there that are running in space and you got to find ways to get them down. It's not going to be a low-scoring game like it was last year. It's just not. It's going to be
No.
35-45. That's going to be my bet. Something crazy like that.
Yeah, I think more so Reed, a good comp that I just thought of was Jaden Daniels at Arizona State. That's what I think he is. Like before he got good, like he pretty good runner, pretty good thrower, but there's nothing like special. And then Jaden Daniels went to LSU and just became a totally different player. Maybe he can do that, but I think that's kind of who I compare him to.
Yeah, I would say he's a better version of that. But it's also tough because he hasn't gone up against anybody, so we really don't know, right? He's played some decent defenses, but until you go up against a team that can go back and forth with you, right, like a Texas potentially can, I just have a hard time like putting you in the Heisman conversation. You've done it once against Notre Dame, and that was a great game. Outside of the Notre Dame game, and Notre Dame was still figuring their stuff out, they're a totally different team now. Not a bunch of serious competition yet. So, I mean, they avoided Georgia, they avoided Alabama, they avoided Tennessee, they avoided Oklahoma, like all of the high-level teams they got to avoid. And that's not their fault. Like LSU came out of nowhere and was trash this year, right? But still, they haven't gone up against a bunch of great football teams. And this is going to be their first test. I'm really excited. And boy, I hope Anthony Hill is available, because if not, I think that changes my prediction quite a bit if Anthony doesn't go.
Yeah, I think it's a really big deal because he's either our best or second best player on defense, and he's probably a top 3 or 4 player on the whole team. So definitely need him for this game. Guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. We really appreciate when you do that. Also, we will be here Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time and Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So please check it out. Please subscribe down below. It really helps out the channel. Also, check out Josh's work over on his YouTube channel. He covers a lot of NFL football, so go check him out, Metro Sports on YouTube. That's also his X account as well, so please check him out there. Also, check out Gerald's Longhorn podcast, which he's not available with us tonight, but he will be here Monday, breaking out the Texas A&M game. And then check out B. Ross on his IG and TikTok as well. This is my X account. If you want to give me a follow, we really appreciate it. We will be here, Friday night, breaking down that Texas A&M game for you guys. So please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below.
It's a Friday game?
And yeah, Friday game.
Oh, I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Black Friday. Yeah, they moved it this year. It usually was Black Friday. Last year was Saturday night. This year will be Friday night, all alone, only game on. So guys, check us out after the game. We really appreciate it. Again, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe and hook them.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.